49. General Xie alerts King Hunli's arrival in their territory, so he worries for his prince. While the barbarians were discussing specific measures in the Red Robe Army camp, Xie Yishou frowned while thinking about the detective in his hand. Wen Yujiao sat on the side and drank tea leisurely. Seeing Xie Yishou's appearance, he was a little curious. What made their general frown? What happened? Wen Yujiao asked aloud. Xie Yishou destroyed the note in his hand, turned his head and said, Tuoba Ren arrived outside Shichong Gate a few days ago. What? Wen Yujiao was shocked, and almost knocked over the teacup in front of him. He stood up abruptly. Who are you talking about? Tuoba Ren? King Hunal of Suishi Country? Xie Yishou nodded. No wonder Wen Yujiao was surprised. In the Central Plains, the name of Tuoba Ren, the King Hunal of Suishi Country, was the same as that of Xie Yishou in the barbarians. Back then, it was Tuoba Ren, King Hunal, who led 8,000 soldiers and horses to attack Shichong Gate and hit the city outside Liangcheng precariously. It was also in that battle that Xie Yishou became famous. And the people of Dayan Country also remembered a character like Tuoba Ren, the king of Hunal. Why did he come to Shichong Gate? I'm going. Didn't he have news for several years? Why did he suddenly appear again? Why didn't that arrow kill him? Wen Yujiao frantically went back and forth a few times. I have a bad intuition in my heart. Did you find out what he's doing? Xie Yishou shook his head. King Hunal was hit hard by his arrow at the beginning, and he was lucky not to die. This person has been silent for a few years. And this time, news came suddenly. I'm afraid it's not good news. Tuoba Ren suddenly appeared on the edge. No one could tell his purpose, but it must not be a good thing. Wen Yujiao thought for a while. These days, the barbarians have been rushing around. Is that why? He glanced at Xie Yishou, because he was indeed sharp-minded. Xie Yishou must have noticed something. So he suggested that General Wei should strengthen the garrison to station Shichong Gate? Back then, Tuoba Ren took advantage of people not to pay attention and sent spies to enter the gate, spread rumors, attacked from inside and outside, and broke Shichong Gate in one fell swoop. The scene back then was terrifying to think about. Everywhere the barbarians passed, the corpses of the people of Liangzhou lay everywhere. The villages along the way were slaughtered. However, this time, there are the Red Robe Army and General Xie, under strict guard. If you want to break the Shichong Gate, I am afraid it will not be so easy. There is a Red Robe Army, and there are troops stationed in the border areas. With concerted efforts, you may not be afraid of a Tuoba Ren. So, what if Tuoba Ren was so powerful that with that arrow from General Xie Yishou, didn't he almost kill him? In the end, panicking like a lost dog, he was defeated all the way back to the royal court. Now that he can keep his own feet, it is not impossible for him to stay in Shichong Gate forever. Knowing yourself and knowing the enemy can win 100 battles. The first thing we need to do is to find out what his purpose is. I don't believe that his sudden appearance is meaningless, Wen Yujiao said with a fist. Xie Yishou nodded. Although he didn't know his purpose, he still had to guard against it. General, the people in Prince Duan's guard camp are very knowledgeable about detective information. Why don't we ask Prince Duan to send 2 people to inquire? Wen Yujiao said after thinking for a while. The training of the guard battalion is very different from theirs. Because Gu and the others are in the guard camp, they also know the training plan of the guard battalion. Relatively speaking, their Red Robe Army or garrison paid more attention to large-scale team operations, and various formations and assaults were consistent with each other. However, the guard battalion is not the case. They are small in number and focus more on small corps or individual combat, so their people are particularly outstanding for detectives, sneak attacks, or individual combat capabilities. Wen Yuzhao made this point because he took a fancy to the guard camp. Xie Yishou shook his head. It's not necessary for now. We don't need to scare the snakes. We will send people to pay close attention first. If they make any moves, they will immediately report. He is only a person, not a god. 5 years ago, the Red Robe Army was able to defeat them. And they will not lose to him 5 years later. The treacherous situation in the borderland did not affect Liangcheng. Ming Yu is a little bald now, and there is not enough manpower. If you want to dig a tributary to nourish the land west of Chonglin Mountain, you must have manpower and material resources. But now the people of Liangzhou spring plowing have already started. And only half of the manpower can be recruited. Originally, Ming Yu wanted to put his idea on the garrison, but the garrison was completely unable to draw any troops. Just because the barbarians outside Xichong Gate were eager to move, the Liangzhou garrison almost devoted all of their energy to defending Xichong Gate. Ming Yu pouted and closed the cloak on his body. When it was still warm and cold, a gust of wind suddenly blew with the coldness of the unfading winter. "My prince, are we going back to the manor?" A personal guard came up and asked. They just came out of an Orchid's tavern. Now these soldiers have long been accustomed to Orchid's enthusiasm and generosity. Go back. Ming Yu looked at the sky. It was still early, and when he went back now, he was afraid that he would be talked about by Qingping for a long time. Since Ming Yu still doesn't want to go back, let's walk around at will. In fact, Liangcheng is no better than the prosperous southern city. Except for the little bustling and prosperous gathering place of the Hu people in the south of the city, almost all other places are particularly deserted. Ming Yu sighed. He has just taken a small step, and everything still has a long way to go. It's really hard. Ming Yu has a bitter face. He wants money but no money, and no one wants anyone. Why do other people become tyrannical, rich and beautiful, and the younger brother's subordinates all defect? When it was his turn, he could only suffer with hopeful signs. Although he had a lot of ideas in his head, it couldn't become a reality for a while. Pedestrians are in a hurry, and most of them are busy doing their own things. To feed a family, you have to work harder by yourself. As long as there is no war, you can live on no matter what. There are also urchins who don't know the hardships of the world. Ride on bamboo horses, play and chase after them. Their innocent laughter is very contagious. When Ming Yu saw these children, all the gloom in his heart dissipated, and only these children could maintain their innocence, ignoring the flames of war, and still happy. What could stop him from building a world of peace and tranquility? He is not the savior of the world, but he has a pure heart that wants to protect this side for the children. Ming Yu's heart began to melt, and the turmoil in his heart subconsciously let go. There was also a smile from the heart on his face, and in the sunshine of the spring afternoon, he brought a touch of brilliance. When Xie Yishou saw Ming Yu, the first thing that caught his eye was this brilliance, which flashed into his mind and penetrated into his spleen and lungs. Xie Yishou saw it from a distance, but he didn't want to interrupt him at this time. But Ming Yu was stunned for a moment, and a thought flashed in his mind. Yes. If he wants to protect this side of the world and make the years quiet, he must let the war subside. Only peace can lead to long-term development. Ming Yu squinted his eyes and rubbed his fingers. Dayan Country and Shishi Country have always been in conflict, and it is impossible to negotiate peace with Shishi Country. They killed the people of the Dayan Country and kidnapped the women and children of the Dayan Country. This hatred was not shared by the sky. No man with a trace of blood in the Dayan Country could bear such a breath. Fortunately, his father, the emperor, and the barbarians had a firm policy of confronting the enemy. In the early years, he dealt with a group of officials who wanted to negotiate peace and excluded the voice of peace talks. This made the court of Dayan Country unanimous. Otherwise, I am afraid that Dayan Country can only offer a price that satisfies the barbarians in a low voice, bow his head as a minister, and offer it with both hands. Year coin, princess, pool city. No matter what these things are, they are the treasures of the Dayan Country. If they are given to the barbarians for waste, they will only fuel their ambitions. Therefore, the emperor's tough attitude towards this matter also made Ming Yu admire him. But the wars that have been going on all the time, and the military disasters every year, have already stretched Dayan Country's treasury. And the emperor can fill Ming Yu from his private bank, which shows that the emperor really cares about Ming Yu. The prince's letter told Ming Yu that half of his share was distributed to the emperor, and he agreed. Not only because the emperor is their mate and wants to be drawn into the same camp, but also because the son makes money. It is natural to honor the father who loves him. Of course, he still needs a lot of money now, so he will owe it temporarily. At that time, I believe that just the tribute from Liangzhou will make the treasury full of revenue. The topic has turned back again, and it is still the same sentence. Only peace can prosper and develop. Ming Yu can think of the quickest way to suppress the war now, and fist is the last word. It can only be beaten, to beat the Yi people to hurt, subdue, and beat them down, in order to extinguish their arrogance and let them know that Dayan Country is not something they can provoke casually. In this case, the thoughts in Ming Yu's mind just now have a clear goal. Maybe it can solve his current troubles. Thinking of this, he turned around and wanted to go back, but when he turned around, he found Xie Yishou not far away. Ming Yu rubbed his eyes to make sure that he had no dizziness, and then smiled. Why is General Xie here? Xie Yishou came back to his senses, walked over to Ming Yu, and bowed. I have seen the prince. Ming Yu stopped Xie Yishou. General Xie, don't be too polite. What are you doing here? Xie Yishou nodded and emphasized. I came here to find the prince on purpose. Ah, what happened? Ming Yu was surprised and didn't know what happened, so that General Xie was not waiting in the palace, and he came out to find himself. Xie Yishou shook his head and nodded again, stunned Ming Yu, wondering whether he was okay or not. This is a street where people come and go, and this group of people has attracted the attention of others. Ming Yu tugged his sleeves. Let's go back and talk. They just walked out and didn't prepare carriages and horses. Walking back slowly also took time. Looking at the horse that Xie Yishou rode over, he smiled and said, if it is urgent, why don't General Xie take this prince to go back to the prince's palace? Xie Yishou didn't say much. He directly expressed his actions. He neatly turned his horse, and then stretched his hand towards Ming Yu. Ming Yu didn't mind either. He took Xie Yishou's hand, and with a force, he followed his strength and turned on his horse. The guards who followed him sideways explained a few words. As soon as Xie Yishou hit the horse, the two of them quickly ran away and disappeared in front of everyone. The personal guards have long since seen it as strange. Earlier, the prince learned to ride with General Xie, and the two occasionally rode the same horse. The prince is also more tolerant and close to General Xie, the equestrian teacher. The relationship between the two is not ordinary, so they are not too surprised and shocked. On the contrary, I felt that the prince was informal and tolerant. The two didn't stop until they reached the gate of the palace. Along the way, Ming Yu asked about the situation, but Xie Yishou didn't mention it. He only said that when he returned to the palace, Ming Yu had to be patient. After getting off the horse, Ming Yu and Xie Yishuo walked straight towards the study. And their servants came to take the horse away and take care of it. Entering the study, a servant who has long been trusted brought tea over. After waiting for the people to retreat, Xie Yishuo said solemnly, "There is a team of Yi pirates sneaking into Liangzhou. The prince still needs to be careful. If you don't need to go outside the city, don't go." Xie Yishuo made a special trip to tell Ming Yu about this news. Just a few days ago, the barbarians kowtowed on a small scale and had 2 small conflicts with the Dayan garrison. And the Yi people took advantage of this opportunity, and a small group of people took advantage of the lack of attention, forcibly broke through the gate, and headed for the hinterland of Liangzhou. This kind of thing is not uncommon. When Ming Yu first came to Liangzhou, didn't he encounter such a small group of barbarians looting the village? At that time, Ming Yu saw the tragic situation in the village and fell into a nightmare for many days. Such a small group of people is the most troublesome. They are small in number, flexible, fast and destructive. If you send a large army to pursue it, you will definitely be able to catch it. It will take time and effort, not to mention that it is useless. Now the foreign barbarian army is eyeing it, and prevention must naturally focus on the border. Ming Yu frowned. How many people are there? It's not too many, only about 100 or 200 people. Xie Yishuo replied. We have lost our target now, and we don't know where they are now. Ming Yu nodded, indicating he knew now. Xie Yishuo looked at him and hesitated to say anything. Ming Yu saw this and smiled. General Xie may wish to speak directly. Yi people move frequently in Xichang Gate. I don't know what the purpose is. And the focus of the garrison is almost placed. We, the Red Robe Army, didn't dare to take it lightly, so these barbarians. Xie Yishuo said hesitantly. Ming Yu remembered, the original group of barbarians slaughtered several villages along the way. And finally Xie Yishuo swept them all in one go. That being said, they can't do anything, so. Ming Yu understood, patted his chest and smiled. You can rest assured. Leave this matter to me. You just go to guard Xichang Gate. I am here to guard the camp. The little brats just don't have a place to practice their hands. So it's good for them to practice with Yi people. Seeing Ming Yu's excited look, Xie Yishuo was a little unsure whether his decision was right or wrong. Barbarians are no better than bandits. Xie Yishuo reminded him. Ming Yu's guard battalion's individual combat capability is good, but after all, he has never been on the battlefield. Under the arrangement of Ming Yu, the guard camp turned to pick bandits to practice, and picked up a lot of small groups of bandits, which made the bandits in Liangzhou tremble with fear. It's just that although the bandits are fierce, they are still a group of untrained rabble, completely different from these barbarian elites who rolled over on the battlefield. These people have no humanity, and they slaughtered the Han people as pigs and sheep, and their methods were cruel. Ming Yu smiled and said confidently, "Don't worry, as long as they dare to appear. They will leave their lives behind, and none of them will want to go back." Ming Yu will not have any sympathy for these barbarians. In their hearts, there is only a determination to avenge the innocent people of Liangzhou who died tragically under their hands. Why Ming Yu has such confidence is not blind. Because the underground secret passages in the village have a wide range of functions. At the beginning, Baiping village suffered heavy damage to the bandits, but they did not have any damage. And the news spread more and more. Then, the people of the village have no resistance at all to the construction of the underground passage. The officials and craftsmen dispatched by the government were warmly received by the people, and the villagers actively cooperated with the work. taking the construction of the underground passage as the most important thing to do. There are also remote villages because the government could not take care of them for a while. They sent people to come to learn scriptures, and they learned to do it when they returned. It can be said that 80% to 90% of the villages in Liangzhou now have complex underground secret passages. And each village has also formed a patrol team, which can protect the safety of a village. Moreover, Mingyu has also made strict regulations, so that young people in each village must go to training. Learn some basic skills, reconnaissance, fighting, training physical fitness, and how to deal with the enemy. It should be said that it is based on the actual situation. Let all people have the ability to protect themselves and protect the village. Because of this, the bandits in Liangzhou were wiped out by the patrols or guards in the village for several waves one after another, and the remaining weak forces were isolated and helpless. And it was too late to hide. This also gave the people of Liangzhou unprecedented confidence in Prince Duan. Mingyu and his guards were supported by the people of Liangzhou. And in the hearts of the people they were comparable to the Red Robe Army. So, no matter if it is barbarians, bandits and thieves, as long as they dare to show up, I believe they will not be able to escape the sharp eyes of the masses. With these foundations, how can Mingyu be afraid of them? And even hope that they should show up as soon as possible to solve this problem as soon as possible. Only then can his horse farm be built with peace of mind. As for the guard camp under Mingyu, Xie Yishou knew that they were excellent. It should be said that there were too many miracles created under Mingyu. There are so many gentlemen from the capital of the guard camp, and none of them can catch their eye. It has only been so long. After being trained by Mingyu confusedly, the whole guard camp has changed, and even he is envious. Although the guard camp is very good, you still need to be careful about everything, Xie Yishou urged, with a hint of worry in his tone. He felt an inexplicable sense of unease in his heart. He always felt that the movements of the barbarians were not that simple. Because he learned of the arrival of Tuoba Ren, the king of Hunal. So, giving people a lot of pressure. And this kind of uneasiness will arise in his heart. Xie Yishou's affirmation of his guard camp, Mingyu was very proud, and he was so carefree that he didn't hear the worry in Xie Yishou's words at all, and laughed to himself. Gee! It is really an honor to be praised by the iceberg of 10,000 years. Thinking that they still scoff at their noses that are not noses and eyes that are not eyes, and sure enough, men have to use their strength to prove themselves.